Hello everyone, welcome back to 70s and 80s Talk. So I'm just going to start off with what I've been doing since doing the last video. I have been listening to some more albums, which I'm going to be reviewing. And also Def Leppard, as many people may know, have released an album recently called Drastic Symphonies. And I've listened to it not in its entirety, but I've listened to quite a few of the songs off there. So basically they took their biggest hits and worked with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra to change the songs up a bit. I can really appreciate what they've done, but for me I just felt like it brought all the songs down, which I didn't really like. I like the originals, what can I say? And they've also released a book, Def Leppard, which I've been wanting them to do that for years. Because they've got an amazing story. They started out so young. Their success, well, they're definitely successful. They've definitely got a story to tell. I think Phil, did he release an autobiography? But we haven't actually had a Def Leppard autobiography. But they have released one. But it was a fortune last time I checked. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait until that goes down in price if I get it. Yeah, I still think it's quite high in price. Some people have actually done some reviews of it. So when I eventually buy it, I will review it after I've read it. Definitely going to be an interesting read, that one. And it's actually called Definitely, which is just kind of ironic that I said that. So I'm just finding my review. So the last album review I did, I'm just going to shut the window because I can hear people, was Billy Idol's debut album. So I'm actually going to review another one of his big albums, which a lot of people talk about or refer back to or refer to songs off that album. And it's Whiplash Smile, which was released in 1986. And this is why I should always open reviews up before I do the video, because it takes like 20 years for it to actually open up. I think Billy Idol wise, I think the next album his I would review would be Kings and Queens of the Underground, which was released in 2015, because I really like that album. But I'm probably gonna not do any other reviews around him because there's other artists that I haven't reviewed yet, anything of theirs that I want to review, which I'll talk about more towards the end of the video. It's been so hectic, like, with work. I've got this week off, so I managed to get some reviews done. It's just going to take ages for this to load. There we go, it's coming up now. So with this album, there are some songs on here that I know very well, and there were some that I haven't heard before. So it was a bit of a mix, really. So it was the 20th of October. It was released, 1986. It's his third album. It reached number 8 in the UK charts, 6 in the US Billboard. It is gold in the UK and it is platinum in the USA. So a successful album. So the first song on the album is World's Forgotten Boy. I think it's got very nice guitar start. We've got Steve Stevens on this album. It's definitely like the other songs which I'm familiar with on this album. I think without all these songs on here, they definitely all fit very well sound-wise as an album overall. But with this song, actually, it didn't grab me. I didn't really feel much about it, in all honesty. The next one is To Be a Lover. I know this song very well. Definitely Elvis vibes with this one. And actually quite a few of them have that actually touch on them as well, the songs on this album. You've got quite a deep tone with Billy's voice. Billy can really change his voice quite quickly, and it can do definitely different tones and things like that. And this one he's doing more of a deeper tone. The female vocals work very well against Billy's vocals, I think. The keys after the who that he does, that bit there, that's really great. Everything just works very nicely in this song, I think. And I like how Billy drops his vocals in places and then rises them with some grit. Again, it's very easy for him to do that, I think, and for it to work and to sound right. The video is definitely an interesting one. Yeah, again, with these female vocals, they're quite, I put here shrieky, that's, I don't know if that's the word, but they almost like, they're shriek, that's like a scream that they're doing there, and I think that really works well in the song, actually. Breaks things up a bit. So number 3 is Soul Standing By. Steve Stevens, what a guitarist. There's aggression in the vocals, which often is the case with Billy Idol songs, but again, this one didn't grab me. So number 4, one of my favourites, possibly my favourite Billy Idol song, and it's Sweet 16. I haven't even wrote it there, but I know it's Sweet 16. It's such a lovely song, which you wouldn't really use the word lovely and Billy Idol songs together, but I am for this case. It's very different for Billy Idol. There's added touches of sound, which just makes the overall sound great. The keys in there, again, just those little bits just kind of perfect it really well. And it really shows Billy's talent, this song in particular. I think a lot of Billy Idol songs, he just sings. Especially I found that with his debut album and more Generation X, he just sort of just sang quite raw, whereas throughout the years he sort of perfected it a bit more, I'd say. But overall he still has that sort of raw aspect, that kind of, I guess he's got a kind of less raw, but he's still raw. But with this song, it's very, very different. It's more pure in the vocals, which, like I've just said, it shows his talents, like he can do this, he can do that. Great. It's quite simple, yeah, it is, but it works really well. So number 5 is Man for All Seasons. The guitar straight away in there, which quickens. It's quite aggressive, this, quite a difference to Sweet 16. Again, keeping the overall similar sound though and vibes of this album. I feel like it could have been more though, more heavier, built more, and be louder. I sometimes find with songs, I'll just like, I'm clicking the volume, but it's not going up any. And I feel like if that was the same with this, because that doesn't make a difference putting the volume up, it literally just is the sound of everything. I just think it needed to be more. And yeah, unfortunately this didn't grab me either. The best bit of the song was Steve's solo for me. Further in the song, it goes a bit odd, I'd say, the word I'd use. There's lots of different sounds, which I don't know if they actually work together. It doesn't really make sense to me. So number 6 is Don't Need a Gun. I know this one. It's one of those ones I would always listen to back in Derby when I was at uni, when it was those hot summer nights in Derby. It's got quite a groovy sound to start. I know immediately it's this song with that sound at the beginning. I really do love the song. There's those pings of guitar, describe them as, after Billy sings a line in the song, which is quite cleverly done actually. It's a very catchy song that you can sing along to. Yeah, absolute killer solo from Steve Stevens in this one, with a groove, that groove still in that guitar solo though. And that guitar solo goes deeper, and then it starts to get that screeching guitar sort of more sound. And then the song quickens more with those beats in there from the drums. Most of the song is quite simple, it just runs along, and then we get this part in the song after the solo guitar bit, which is actually rather varied if you listen to it when I'm reviewing this, I'm listening out for these sort of things. And that bit there is actually more varied in comparison to the rest of the song. And it works really well overall to create a good song. So number 7 is, I've literally wrote Not Grabbing Me at All. I haven't even wrote the name of it. Let's have a look. I've got such bad hay fever today, literally. It's not even sunny. Not that actually counts, but you know. Beyond Belief is the song I'm talking about here. So yeah, Not Grabbing Me. Again, I hadn't heard this one before. I can't really hear what Billy is saying at all. It's almost like a dreamy sort of song, like, but not in a good way for me. The backing music is a bit too much. Too much is going on. I just wanted to turn it off, in all honesty. I just didn't want to listen to it. I felt like it was a bit like almost whiny. That's the way I'd describe it. So number 8 is Fatal Charm. Now, straight away, bass. And anybody that watches these videos knows I love bass guitar. Really brings something else out in songs. I like this one. I actually like this one. I hadn't heard it before. There's a bit more oomph to it. And of course that bass is in there, which immediately makes me like it. The riff had a lot more oomph in it, I think, than other ones. In other songs. Not that I'm saying that I didn't like the solos in other songs, but I think this had a bit more oomph to it. It's more heavier, which I like. So number 9 is All Summer. All Summer single, is that right? Yeah. The start is interesting. Not what you'd expect from a Billy Idol song. I found it again a bit odd, and it just totally lost me, in all honesty. Wasn't interested in it. Number 10 is the last song on the album, One Night, One Chance. This song got me a bit more curious again. I was like, okay, I was thinking, oh, the next song I'm not going to like it. But this one, I was like, okay. And I felt the song going to build, and I was thinking, is it going to build here? But that build, we reached that build, and then just straight away it just flattened off, which was a bit disappointing. There's this tapping drum sound all the way through the song, which I just find annoying and distracting from everything else that's going on. I was a bit disappointed, really, unfortunately. So to conclude, I expected to like this album a lot more than what I actually did, because I am a big fan of Billy Idol and I like a lot of his stuff, but I'm not going to like everything. I mean, there's some Def Leppard songs which I'm not keen on, for example. It was really only the ones I already knew, the ones that were released as singles, which I like. They're just a lot better and make more sense, and sound wise I like, and are more varied, and those are the reasons why. And the ones which I hadn't heard song wise, that just nothing grabbed me, nothing made me think, oh yeah, I like that, I like the sound of that. Apart from Fatal Charm, I think that's the only one on there that I was like, yeah, quite like this. I literally wrote damn here because I thought I was gonna like it a lot more. I can actually say I preferred his debut album, which I reviewed last. One thing's for sure, when I eventually review Kings and Queens of the Underground, it'll be a lot more positive review because I really adore that album. I like all the songs on there. So that's it. So the next album I will be reviewing, we're going back to the 70s, as this is 70s and 80s talk. This artist is someone I have reviewed before. The last album I reviewed of his was Trash. So this is Alice Cooper I'm going to be reviewing next, another one of his albums. And it's actually his debut album. So obviously he was actually in the band. But then he went solo. So this is the first album after he went solo. I'm just checking something. Yeah, so it's quite an interesting one, this actually. There's a bit of a, well, there was actually a film about it. So, yeah. But I'll talk more about that in the review. But yeah, let's say it's the 70s, it's 1975, I believe. It's easy literally just to Google it and check, or try and get that review to open up right now. Yeah, it's 1975. So that's the next album review I'll be doing. And looking past that, I'm going to be reviewing Journey's Greatest Hits album. I know there is a few, I think, but there's one in particular I'm going to be reviewing. And looking at reviewing another Whitesnake album, another Survivor album. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I want to review something of Foreigner as well, because I quite like Foreigner. Not sure where I'll go with that, I don't know. Probably some pick and mixes along the way. There was a pick and mix I was thinking of doing for someone. I have been listening to a lot of Van Halen recently, but I wouldn't really classify myself as like a big fan of them, because I literally just know like their hits and that's it. So maybe something along those lines, a pick and mix of Van Halen, or a pick and mix of ZZ Top. Been listening to a lot of ZZ Top, so maybe something like that. So that's just an idea of what to expect on the channel coming up. I know I have done a couple films, but I don't have the time to watch films in all honesty. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone, take care now, bye bye.